All right, everybody. I have a couple minutes after the hour mark. So I wanted to, first of all, welcome all of you here to the webinar for week 3 in your IDS 104 class. Today's session is going to be all about click, connect, and communicate, engaging online. And we're going to talk about that project draft overview. First and foremost, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is incredibly important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are ever aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center at oac@snhu.edu, or you can call them at 866-305-9430, or you can visit the Online Accessibility Center website. A lot of students are like, okay, what is this OAC department? What do they do here? They are a team here at SNHU that help students, learners just like you, get content in a way that works best for you and your learning style. If you have questions about this, want to know more about this, please reach out directly to the OAC team, okay? All right, y'all, I'm going to flip on my camera here real quick. Hello, everybody. Can you see me okay? Before I go into all the housekeeping items, I have to let you know that I cannot see the chat when I'm live like this. If you see me kind of going, my head kind of turning from side to side, it's because I have multiple screens running. So hello, everybody. I am Melanie Shop, and I am an instructor here at SNHU. I teach a section of IDS 104. I also teach SNU 107 and IDS 105, a couple other classes here in our first year experience team. But you're most familiar with probably seeing my name or hearing my voice in the learning community. So I oversee the IDS 104 learning community, which means that I put together webinars just like this and helpful focus videos, and then I answer a lot of questions in that IDS 104 learning community. So I wanted to make sure that I introduced myself. Couple of reminders for today's session. This is an academic space, so always be mindful of your conduct. And the same thing applies in the learning communities, in SNHU Connect, your classroom spaces, YouTube comments, emails, all the things are academic spaces. So I always like to remind students of that, okay? These webinars are not graded. They're not required. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to attend. However, students tell us every single term that they're super helpful in helping them complete their assignments. We'll go over concepts that you're covering in your course usually from week to week, and also it's kind of a how-to on your assignments, like where to find them, what to do, where to click, right? Have you all seen any of the other webinars or came to like the pre-term webinar? The cool thing about the webinars is most of them are on demand, which means that they're pre-recorded. They're available bright and early every Monday morning before a new module starts on the IDS 104 YouTube pages, okay? Sometimes we have live sessions. Not every term, but when we do, it's in a space just like this. The cool thing is that these are always recorded and available within 24 hours because we know we can't meet everybody's schedule, right? So just know that this will be recorded and uploaded to the First Year Experience YouTube page. I've popped that link in the chat already, but I will do it again before we get done, okay? So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that those are always up within 24 hours. So you can go back and watch them as many times as you need to, and they're left up until the term ends, okay? So let's check in, y'all. First of all, how is the term going so far? Tell me one thing that you're super proud about. Like, what's one thing that you're like, I am doing this so well? Maybe it's getting your work in on time. Maybe that it's you've been able to kind of manage time and adding school to your schedule. Maybe you're like, I got an A on my assignment so far. Or maybe it's been a long time since you've written academically and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. I know how to do it. Maybe you're just super proud that you knew how to cite a source. I mean, that's a big deal. I don't know about y'all, but like when we have to cite sources, I have to like rack my brain and like remember exactly how to do it, right? So if that's you, you're not alone. So be proud when you do it right. Maybe you've reached out to a resource. Maybe you are just feeling really good. Whatever it is, I just want you to think of one thing. And if you're not comfortable sharing it, write it down on a piece of paper so you can look at it later, because it's so important to remember the things that we are doing well, right? And it sounds like you guys are doing such a good job. Proud of your grades, proud of your time management, loving getting into a schedule and a routine. And you guys, if you are not yet in a routine or you just haven't found that perfect like set schedule for you, don't stress. Take a deep breath. It'll come together. Just map out that time, okay? So I just always like to check in and see how things are going. So a couple of other things is, first and foremost, make sure that you're always checking your course announcements. Are y'all doing that? This is where your faculty put helpful tips, reminders for your success. They talk about concepts. They share learning community information. They share reminders on due dates and deadlines. Don't sleep on them. Don't miss them. They're really important. Often students, I know in my own classes, they're like, if they struggled in a certain area, I'm like, hey, did you read my course announcement? I talked exactly about this, and they didn't. So make sure you're checking those, okay? Also, make sure you're checking that SNHU email. This is how the university communicates with you. It's how your instructors are going to reach out. That is how your advisor is going to get a hold of you. All the things SNHU email, okay? Sometimes things happen. We might accidentally upload a blank template and your faculty is going to give you a 0 and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, why do I have a 0? Well, it's because you just uploaded something blank. It's an easy mistake. Check your email. You probably had an email to resubmit it, right? So don't forget to be checking your SNHU email. Also, if you are stuck, if you have questions, if maybe you've fallen behind or missed an assignment or two, this is the time to use those university resources and reach out and communicate for your success, okay? I always tell students, when you have questions, when you are stuck on something, when you're not sure about something, if you haven't seen a grade on something or you don't know why you got graded a certain way on something, first, always check your graded feedback in the graded section, right, of your classroom. We all know how to find that, right? But the other thing is do not be nervous or hesitant to reach out directly to your instructor. That is who is grading your work. That is who can see what you've turned in, how you're doing. They are your very best point of contact when you have those questions, okay? Oh, and I have a typo. Remember, you got this. See, we all make mistakes sometimes, y'all. And I saw in the chat that some of you were like, I'm just a little overwhelmed. I feel like I'm struggling. I've made some mistakes. You know what? We all do it. This is where you take a minute, take a deep breath, you reach out to your instructor, you reach out to your advisor, and you figure out a plan to get back on track and get yourself set back into a routine. Okay? So today we're going to talk about the importance of online engagement. We're going to talk about a quick reminder about what digital literacy skills are, why they're important. We're going to talk about those online communication strategies and tips. We're going to talk about our amazing academic support team here at SNHU, and then we're going to do an overview of our project draft, okay? So first and foremost, know that most questions you have today, I will probably answer in the slide deck. I will, at the end of the slide deck or the end of the presentation session, I will go into the classroom and physically show you where to click, where to find things, okay? So if you are already good with that, you can always hop off if you don't want to stay for that part of it. But if you have questions, most likely I'll answer it before we get done today, but I will spend some time at the end making sure that I got out to all the questions, okay? So just kind of hold tight, focus in on what we're talking about, because sometimes when the chat is blowing up with all kinds of questions on certain things, it can be a little bit distracting. So I promise you I'm going to get to most of this stuff, okay? So first and foremost, why does online engagement matter? Tell me, what do y'all think? Why does it matter that we know how to communicate and be engaged online? I want to know your thoughts in the chat. I'll tell you what our thoughts are here at SNHU and why we think that this is so important for you guys, that we have a whole class about it, right? First, it helps you connect with those classmates and instructors, right? Here academically. You're going to be learning how to engage with other people that you don't see in person. You're going to learn, right, that tone matters, how you type, what you say, all those things matter, right? It also professionally can build that presence professionally and personally, but also academically. The other cool thing about why being engaged in your classrooms matter is because it increases your participation, which helps you just be more involved, more engaged, which makes you an even better student. The big key is that when you know how to engage online, it supports that collaboration and positive or effective collaboration, whether you're inside or outside the classroom, right? And just looking at the chat, it sounds like you guys are just saying, like, when you engage online, it makes you feel like part of the SNHU community, or it makes you feel like you're part of that space where you're communicating, right? Somewhere that you belong, somewhere that you can be a part of things, right? That's why it matters to be engaged online. So we've talked a lot these last couple of weeks about digital literacy, right? So as a reminder, digital literacy means knowing how to use technology safely, effectively, and responsibly, right? It's more than just being able to pick up a phone or a computer and be online, right? It's knowing how to find information online. It's knowing what is accurate, what sources to trust. It's understanding how to communicate respectfully and clearly. It's also about protecting our personal information, right? But it's also about creating content not just consuming it. I have a high schooler and he tells me all the time, like, if he's wasting time, he's like, oh, I'm doom scrolling. Like, that's like the term, because it's like, oh, you're just taking in all this information and all this knowledge and like doing nothing with it. And typically it doesn't really feel very good, right? Like, it's such a powerful reminder about we have screens in front of us all the time. So we need to know how to effectively respond to that, be a part of it, but also not just consume it, right? So a couple of things I wanted to share with you about online communication and things to think about as you communicate online. And tell me too, like, if any of these resonate with you, where you're like, yeah, I need to work on this, or, oh, that is something I definitely love in the online spaces. One, when we are communicating online, we want to be clear and concise. We want to keep our messages focused, organized. We want to use short paragraphs, bullets, or numbering so it's easy to read, right? And we want to avoid jargon, like acronyms are a big one. Whenever I see like LOL or different abbreviations in academic writing, I'm like, no, we can't do that. We're not texting, we're academic writing, right? So you want to make sure that your audience understands it. So I don't know about you, but when I read something, the more quick to the point that it is, I'm going to finish reading the whole thing from top to bottom and I'm going to remember it, right? Number two is match your tone to purpose. So know what your tone should be in whatever space you're in. So always be professional. I tell students that all the time, whether you're inside or outside the classroom, always be professional, always be respectful. My grandma used to say, we attract a lot more things with honey than we do with vinegar, right? So just remember that, when we are kind and respectful, we tend to get a little bit further. Add warmth, so like be yourself, be casual, especially those community spaces, but sometimes we got to watch those emojis, greetings, and sign-ups, and I'm the worst. I love a smiley face emoji. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like I use it all the time and I need to stop. I know it, but it just makes me happy. So one of those things to kind of just think about. Anybody else love emojis? I know, they're everywhere. Tip number 3 is to practice active listening or reading. So always read carefully before you respond. This is a big one. Sometimes we're in such a hurry that when we see something, we just like quickly scan it and like want to get it off our plate, so we respond. Take a minute, review it, reflect, and then respond, right? And make sure you acknowledge what other people are saying before adding your perspective. Ask questions if we're not sure on something or we want to talk about a little bit more. Ask questions and always be timely. Respond within a reasonable time frame so conversations don't lose momentum. I don't know about you, but we all have those people in our life that maybe we send them a quick text message and like 7 to 10 days later we hear from them. Then we like forgot what we even like wanted, right? So especially in our academic and professional settings, we always want to make sure that we are being timely with what we're talking about. Okay. Does this make sense so far? Anything stick out to anybody? So far, I'm going to just check the chat real quick, make sure I'm not missing any questions. I love your guys' responses about why being engaged is online is such a cool thing. I did see a quick question about a study group with another members besides using a tutor. That we don't have any student study groups. We do have amazing resources, which academic support is going to talk about. So that'll be a great thing to pay attention to, because there's some really cool workshops and stuff you can be a part of. So other tips is using formatting wisely, bold or italicize for emphasis, break up those long posts with those headers or bullet points, right? Respect digital etiquette. This is a big one. I don't know about you, but if somebody types in all caps, it feels like they're yelling at you, right? So remember that. And avoid sarcasm, because tone and voice are not in our writing. So sometimes when we're really excited about something, it might be taken totally differently. So always make sure that we pay attention to that. Also, when we're responding, this is really helpful, especially in those discussion boards, y'all, is provide that constructive feedback. Like, hey, I really like how you explained this, but like, if I have some questions about this, this, and this. So just things to think about from a professional standpoint. I like to call it that like compliment sandwich, right? Like, hey, you did a great job on this, but we need to work on this. Here's some ideas and ways that we can do that, right? That's that feedback. That's that mindset. We've been talking about growth mindsets and fixed mindsets, right? So growth mindsets are all about accepting feedback and knowing that we can make, practice makes perfect and mistakes are just, opportunities. Where fixed mindset is like, sorry, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So remember, when you are working in those online spaces, you want to think about how you're coming across too. And that constructive feedback can really go a long way. All right. Showing empathy and presence is a great way, especially in the online spaces, making sure that people feel heard. I don't know about y'all, but Have you noticed when you're in the online spaces, people tend to share more about their background, personal lives, things they've struggled with, than maybe they would in person, right? So sometimes we hear a lot of people's stories and a lot of things that they have been through, some that might resonate very well with you, some that might be new, some that you might be like, oh my goodness. Acknowledge, let them feel seen, right? And then always be inclusive, use accessible language, avoid inside jokes or things that everybody might not understand. Like, just keep those things in mind. We talk a lot in this class about being culturally aware, right? And I want to just remind you kind of what being culturally aware means. Because for some of you, you might be like, wait a minute, what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that you're listening actively to others' experiences. So you're hearing them, you're making them, feel valued, seen, heard. You're asking respectful questions. Often we may not know about a different culture. We may not know about a different background, or maybe we've experienced something and we think a certain way. So now it's our opportunity to learn more about it. So asking those respectful questions, always being mindful of our language and tone, and just making sure that we're really being inclusive of others. Okay. So a couple of just tips in here of how we can build those inclusive communities. I mean, y'all, we have such a wonderful space in the discussion areas of all of your SNH2 classes when you have discussions to really engage and dialogue and get to know other people and different perspectives. But you also have that on the SNH2 Connect side. Have you all been in SNH2 Connect? SNH2 Connect has the social side, which is kind of the clubs, the organizations, and then the academic side is what houses the learning communities, specifically the IDS 104 learning community. So there's those spaces, like for the IDS 104 learning community, it has every single student that's taking this course that's not just in your class section. So it really is a cool way to get to know other students outside of even your own classroom space. So a couple of things to remember is to always engage with classmates, both inside, outside the classroom, like in those SNH2 Connect spaces, but always have that respectful dialogue, whether you're in a chat, whether you're in the discussion board, whether you're in SNH2 Connect, okay? Support classmates in group work. I know we don't have group work here in IDS 104, but some of your classes that you are taking or will be taking will have group work. And so you really need to understand like how to effectively communicate in that group and being able to recognize and amplify others' contributions and what they're good at, right? And then of course, always be aware of any accessibility needs. So kind of putting it all together when we think about what it means to be a good digital citizen is that you are able to navigate those online platforms confidently. You're able to evaluate sources and use credible information. You're able to communicate effectively in emails, discussions, assignments, and also outside the classroom in your personal and professional spaces. But you're also able to manage your digital footprint responsibly. As y'all know, anything you say online, even if you post it and delete it, it can still be found again. Or even if you posted something 30 years ago, 25 years ago, it comes back, right? I always joke about the like Facebook. Does anybody here, I'm going to really date myself right now, remember when Facebook started and like Facebook came available? And the statuses, oh, I see the statuses we made, right? Like when those show up in memories, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Who was that person, all those years ago, right? Oh, why did I say that? Why would I share that, right? So just remember, you always have a digital footprint, okay? And I love MySpace. Yes. Okay, you guys are my people. You're my people. You're here. But I mean, it's important because those things can be found in a matter of a few keyboard clicks. And so we always want to make sure that we're navigating our digital footprint very responsibly, okay? So now that we reminisced, right, on those days, I'm glad I'm not alone there. I wanted to talk about your project draft assignment before I introduce you to academic support, okay? So this week you only have one assignment, and it is that week 3 project draft. You are only doing part 1. You will notice whether you open up that PowerPoint template or that Microsoft Word template, there's a few different sections, right? There's part 1, part 2, part 3. You are only doing the very first part 1, okay? I want to make sure I cleared that up. The second thing is you have a template to use. You can pick either a PowerPoint template or a Word template, and both of those things are right under project draft, the overview of the information. I'll show you that. If you're not sure which one you should pick, think about how you best express yourself or like your like learning styles, right? Like if you're a visual person, maybe using that PowerPoint might be a great way for you to answer the questions and have the text on there, but also add in some photos and make it a little bit creative if you want to, right? If you prefer more like writing or essay style, that Word document might be the best way to organize your thoughts. Okay, so just something to think about. Either option is fine. That's why there's an option. But the most important thing is whichever one you pick. So if you this week do the PowerPoint to answer the questions, I encourage you to stick with that for all 3 parts, okay? If for some reason you decide to change like the Word document or vice versa, you're gonna have to go back and fix all that. So whatever one you're gonna use, you stick with it all term. Okay, does that help with like picking either the PowerPoint or the Word template? Now, if you do not have access to PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, remember that as an SNHU student, you get Office 365 for free. Okay, you get that for free, and I'll show you where to find that when we get done here, okay? So these are the questions that you are answering for that project. And I will pull up both the templates so you can kind of see what you're doing. Yes, just to confirm, only part 1. This project has different pieces and parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3. So you're doing this one in week 3. The next one I believe is in week 5. And then the last one is in week 7, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. So you're only answering part 1, which is this set of questions that is right here. Okay, hold questions real quick, not to distract everybody because I'm going to answer most of those right now. So the biggest thing is when you see this template, when you navigate to the Microsoft Word document or the PowerPoint, you know what? I'm going to show you guys that here real quick. Hold on just a second. I'm going to pull this up real fast so you can see it. So let's go to our classroom space real quick, okay? Just a reminder, if you need to find Office 365 or Microsoft Word, help, can everybody see my screen okay? I want to make sure. Help, online student services. When you go to that, it's going to pull up all the departments and teams that are here at the university that are literally just a click away, okay? You can notice that you can click on academic support here too. You can get into SNHU Connect, but right here, Office 365 and other software. Click the blue, gets you to where you go, follow the prompts to get Office 365, which has Word and PowerPoint downloaded to your system, okay? So I wanted to make sure that I showed you that. The other thing I wanted to make sure I showed you is, as always, you know to click on that Module 3 guide, right? And there's a lot of reading within your module. Make sure you're reading it, make sure you're reviewing it, you know, scroll all the way down, arrow over, plus you have those resources, which are videos and different articles and things to read that'll also help you answer the questions for the week. Okay, so I want to make sure I showed you that. Okay, so don't miss those things. The project draft. So let's take a look at the project draft. Remember, when you open up that assignment, there's an overview of why we're doing it, and there's the directions. It reminds you, you only need one template. So you're either picking the PowerPoint or you're picking the Microsoft Word document. You are only answering for week 3, module 3, part 1. This assignment is due by Sunday or before, as convenient for your schedule. So you'll notice here's the questions that you're answering, and underneath here it says what to submit. Also, underneath supporting materials, you'll see the project draft rubric. This is always so helpful to review, y'all, because it is how you are being graded. So when you put together your draft assignment, you can go back and look at it and be like, okay, did I discuss this? Did I have examples about this? Like, did I really convey my thoughts clearly? Okay. Now, what I wanted to point out, if you click on the project template for PowerPoint, you click the blue, gets where you want to go. I already have it loaded. It's going to look like this. Okay. It's a blank document that has text on it. So what you are doing is you are answering the questions on here. It goes through the directions right here. So for example, for the PowerPoint, it says to complete this template, insert your own content on each slide. Please keep the titles on the slide. So what's a title? Like this, part 1, digital community, is a title. Leave that. Right here, digital literacy skills. Leave that. Where you want to answer your questions is under here. Okay? Now, if you are somebody that wants to delete the question and then answer it, that's fine. Just make sure you answer all pieces and parts of every question, because whenever students start deleting things or adding things, usually deleting things, they miss something. All right? So just know that. You are only answering part 1. So you'll notice on the on the PowerPoint template, it says part 1. So you're answering this slide, this slide, and then you're going to get to part 2, you stop because that's another module's assignment. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? So remember, always make sure you read the directions carefully. Okay? Always make sure you review the directions carefully because it literally tells you what to do. Also with the PowerPoint, if you want to add pictures or add fun things, totally fine. Citing sources. If you use information that is not your own, you must cite it APA style, okay? If you're not sure how to do it, you're stuck, Google can be a great friend, but we have amazing resources with our academic support team and our Shapiro Library that all help with citation workshops and citation support and information. You do have at the bottom of the PowerPoint, there's a sources slide. If you want to, you could copy this slide and just put it underneath each section. So for example, you could just copy that and put it right before part 2. If you had sources and you want to just make sure that you're like, okay, this is what I used here, this is what I used here, and this is what I used for the last one. But the last one, you turn in module 7, you can just put it all together. Does that make sense? I saw a couple questions about citing. So that's the PowerPoint document. Are we clear on the PowerPoint document of what you do? Now, if you're like, I don't want to do a PowerPoint, I don't like that. I don't want to do the PowerPoint. That's fine. You don't have to. Click on the Word document template and it's going to open up a document. Yours will not have these highlights. These will not be highlighted for you. This is just an easy way for me to point out the difference, okay? So note here too, read the directions. So you're going to complete this template, replace the bracketed text with your own. Remove, this note before you submit it. I mean, really, you could just do that if you want to. So here we go. Part 1, digital community. Complete this section of module 3. As you scroll down, you're going to see part 2 is module 5. You're going to see part 3 is module 7. I put them in different colors just to make it a little bit easier to see. Okay. And then you'll see sources down here. Again, if you have used content that's not your own, you're citing sources APA style. We have a lot of support and resources for that for you. Now, what are the questions you're answering? So you are answering these questions here for part 1. 1, discuss how digital literacy skills help support meaningful connections in digital communities. Include the following. What digital literacy skills help support meaningful connections in a digital space? Why are literacy skills important to have when making connections in a digital community? You're answering the questions, writing complete sentences, use examples, use details. The more you can connect your own experiences and details, examples to the question and the course content, the stronger your answers are going to be. Okay? And then question 2, and you'll see right here, insert response here. Question 2, describe communication strategies. We've talked about a few today that encourage digital connections. Include the following. How does each strategy encourage digital connections? Do they work all the time? Why or why not? Why or why not? Remember, it says communication strategies. So don't just put one. You want to have more than one. Okay? That's always kind of the rule of thumb. When it's plural, you want to make sure you have more than one. Question 3, compare the skills used to engage in both a digital and an in-person community. Share your thoughts, examples, details. Question 4, explain why being inclusive of different cultures and backgrounds contributes to a respectful digital community. Share your thoughts and details. Question 5, what are the skills that you bring to a digital community? So include the following. What skills do you think are your strengths? What are maybe some skills that you could develop further? Again, skills. So have at least more than one. And then what makes you feel supported in a digital community? Okay, so those are the questions that you all are answering. Does that make sense? So whether you use the PowerPoint or the Microsoft Word document, you're going in and just filling out part 1, and then you're going to upload it to be graded for review. Okay, you can leave these other sections because when you go back in week 5, you're going to pull up this document you submitted here in week 3, and you're just going to submit week 5. You're going to turn it in. So when you get it in week 5, it's going to have 3 and 5. When you get to 7, it's going to have 3, 5, 7. If for some reason you decide to get creative and separate things, you're going to have to put it all back together for week 7. Okay, so I would just leave it as it is. But again, be creative, be you. Just make sure you're consistent. Make sure you use details, examples, clearly explain your thoughts. That is the biggest advice that I can give you because it just really helps you connect everything that you may need to know. Remember, you're only doing part 1 and it's due by Sunday or before as convenient for your schedule. Okay, so the good news is, so does that help? I want to make sure I got those questions that are out there. I think I got everything. Thank you, Amy, for putting that APA citation in there. I appreciate it. Okay, perfect. All right, so that is everything project-wise. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. Like, how am I going to do this? I might be stuck. What kind of support do I have? Well, let me tell you that you have, sorry, I have to go through all the slides now. You have the most support here at SNHU because we have the incredible academic support team. So let me turn it over to Amy Pearman. Amy is here to talk to you all about academic support here at SNHU. So Amy, do you want me to drive the slides? You just want to tell me when to click through?
That'd be great. That's
perfect. So I will turn
perfect.
it to you and you can go through everything and you just let me know when to click forward.
Okay, perfect.
Everybody hello, say everyone. Hello to Amy.
Hello, hello. I couldn't help myself. Everyone was asking questions about the citations. We were talking about it. So the link that I shared with you guys is just one example of the many resources that we have created, curated, and what you'll find in the ARC, which is one service resource that we have. But we are the Academic Support Center, and I like to tell everybody it's not necessarily a what we are, it's a who we are. So we are the academic coaches and learning support specialists behind the scenes, running the workshops, walking you through every day if you need that help with that long-term kind of coaching support, or whether you need just quick content help. We also serve with many different other services, which I'll talk about in just a minute. You can go forward for me, Melanie. Perfect. But first, let's talk about how you can find us. So the first main area that most people find us the easiest is in any Brightspace course. Right at the very top of that navigation bar is a link directly to academic support. You just click in that link and you're falling right into our platform. If you do not see that academic support name at the top, sometimes your view might be a little bit smaller depending on your screen size. So just kind of open it up a little bit and you'll see it pop back up. It tends to kind of fold within itself sometimes, so if you don't see it. The second place that you can find us very easily is through MySNU. So in your MySNU account, you'll notice there is an academics page, and then another link that takes you to online academic support. So on that page, you'll see the link to our resource database, the static resources, as well as a link directly to our platform as well. And the third place that you can find us in every course is in the module. There is an academic support module that Melanie showed it just a few minutes ago. And essentially, there are 3 links there, but the very first one that says get help with your schoolwork is the direct link to our specific platform. And you can move forward. All right, so when you jump into our link directly to our platform, this is the landing page that you will see. Everybody at SNU has their own account. As soon as you're in there from your credentialed area, meaning from your Brightspace course and so forth, this is what you'll see. And you have an account settings right here on the right-hand side. And that account settings is important because if you'd like to receive text messages about upcoming events that you've scheduled yourself for, you have to kind of turn that setting on. So I always say go into the account settings, set up your text notifications if that's what you choose. And then you'll see at the very top where it says home up there in the yellow, each one of those is a tab that's going to take you to a different service in our platform. So you move forward, Melanie. So let's say we need some immediate help right now in the moment. 24/7 drop-in is your go-to for tutoring support for content in the moment. It is a very easy, convenient way. You're going to drop right in. It's going to take you to this main screen. You're going to ask your question or figure out from the drop-down menu what type of resource help you need help with, the subject matter, and you'll be dropped into a chat form of help. There is an audio-based version where you can request to have an audio call with somebody. So just choose however you want to connect with that particular tutor. Your past sessions will also be in your previous sessions kind of list underneath that as well. So that's another benefit of bookmarking your homepage of academic support, because you can always see your past sessions. You can move forward. Thank you. The second option that a lot of students take us up on is the written feedback, which is a paper drop-off service. So in that paper drop-off service, you're going to ultimately let them know exactly what it is you would like them to take a look at within your paper. So I would encourage you not to drop a whole entire 6 to 8 page paper in there because they do have a 12-hour turnaround. So they might not be able to get to that full paper. So the best thing to do is maybe it's the thesis statement, maybe it's your formatting or grammar, or maybe it's your APA citations. All of those type of elements, you want to let them know in the notes section, hey, I really would like you to take a look at these particular things. That way your questions get answered when you need them the right way, instead of them just saying, hey, everything looks great, but you're like, what about the punctuation? So let them know what you want help with. Now, one thing, I'm glad I was here for this course. The paper drop-off service will not allow PowerPoint. So if you are using your PowerPoint for your project, for written feedback, instead move over to 24/7 and you can share your link to your PowerPoint in the chat with the tutor. So written feedback, the paper drop-off service will not allow for PowerPoint presentation. So I just want to make that clear. All other written text, like your documents and such, will be allowed in that setting. 2 to 3 pages is about the max. I see that question going forward. Okay, and Melanie, you can go forward. And I had others. I'm not sure.
Oh
They're out
no.
of
Well, here,
sequence.
hold on a sec. Technology is not our friend today. Hold on a sec. We'll go to the classroom. Where do you want me to go, Amy?
Oh shoot. I must have. No, I think we're good. There is what I really wanted to share was about the workshops. So up at the very top, actually, if you're going to go into there, can you jump into the workshop? Yes, let's jump into there. So here's something cool that I want to share with you guys. And I know this class is all about that social kind of engagement, and we'll let this load up. We offer over 70 workshops and office hours throughout each week. Each week. So as you can see here, when you jump into the workshop space, it'll pull up whatever's next on the list for timing and day. You can also keyword if you'd like to kind of choose the specific name of the workshop. And I also wanted to say that there are 2 different kinds that you'll be kind of working in, especially I saw the comments earlier about the study groups. So there are 2 different types. There's a workshop specifically, which is a preset presentation about something. So like, for instance, there might be we have an IDS generalized lens kind of workshop, right? That teaches you kind of how to look through the IDS lens for general education, right? We have a second option for live group support, which is office hours. Office hours is just like you think it would be. There's no preset presentation, but you can absolutely jump in and ask questions and guide the conversation with your questions. And the cool thing about office hours is that our learning support specialists can break you off into small groups. So let's say there's 2 or 3 students that have a question over here about this particular topic, and then there's another, students over here asking this particular host. They will break you apart and you'll literally get like a small little study group on the side. So office hours is your best bet to ask questions in real time to a real person that's not a chat feature if you want live help with your content. Workshops are a great option if you just want to learn about the topic and be in that social environment. Also, if you can't make any of the sessions, you can sign up anyway, and you will receive the recording in that previous sessions on the main homepage of your account at the platform. So cool thing is, if you can't attend, you'll get the recording within 24 hours. And I'm going to throw a couple links into the chat here for you guys. One is the direct link to the Academic Resource Center, which is the other service I wanted to share with you guys. We have a database of digital static resources, which includes our really, really vast YouTube. And if you can jump into the resource tab, Melanie, perfect. So this is how you can find the Academic Resource Center, our database, right from our main homepage. You can click into that workshop tab right on the front. That is the second link I shared with you guys. And that's going to bring you to the schedule for all of our workshops ongoing each term. So if you're not sure what you want to go to, find them all. You saw how to book them. Sign up for it anyway. You'll get the recording if you can't attend live. It's a great way to get social. Office hours are the go-to if you want that kind of study group help, content help in the moment. And then the last link I shared with you guys in the chat is a direct link to our platform. So sometimes you might want to bookmark it for the future to make sure you can get there anytime you want without having to even be in your Brightspace course. But that is the direct link. No matter where you are, it'll drop you right into our platform. So in the database that Melanie's showing you now, everything is there. If you don't see something that you wish we had, a resource for a class you're taking, you don't see a resource, jump to the very, very bottom. There is a suggestion box. And by all means, share with us what you'd like us to create. We have a team of 20, going to be 30 resource makers and workshop office hours hosts for you guys to really cover all the bases. So let us know what you need if you don't see it. And please explore this database, bookmark it, share it with a friend. It is going to be probably your first go-to outside of that 24/7 chat to kind of self-serve, and then you can move on from there. And I think, there you go. That's the booking page.
Perfect. Is that it? Amy, this is awesome.
That's it. I know we kind of actually did a live demo of it, which was kind of cool. So
I love it. Students, did you like the live demo? I think that Amy and I's tech glitch might have been the best thing because sometimes we need to know where to click, how to find things. And did y'all see that list of workshops? I mean, holy smokes, there's a little bit of something for everybody in there. And remember what she said too, that if you sign up for it, can't make it, you'll still be able to get that recording. So
absolutely.
That's really a really cool thing. Amy, thank you so much. This was so helpful. Y'all, please tell Amy thank you. If you have not yet utilized the academic support team, this is your nudge to reach out and utilize this team. I know I saw in the chat that there was a couple of you where they're like, oh my gosh, they're sick of me because I've used them all the time. No, they will never be sick of you. It's absolutely amazing that you were advocating for your success and using these resources. Yes, Miss Amy.
I forgot the one other service that we have. If you would jump right into that scheduled support real quick.
Yes.
Let's say you are new to SNU, learning specialists, the academic coaches is where I wanted to show them. That's okay.
There we go.
So if you are the type of person that kind of needs a little nudge or somebody, I call it the person giving you the sip of water through the marathon for the duration of your degree. You want someone to hold you accountable. Maybe you want someone to work with you on rubric support, synthesizing your milestones into projects, helping you understand your instructor's feedback, helping you kind of synthesize all that critical thinking as your classes get even more complex, time management, study skills. Those are your academic coaches. So right here on this main page, if you hit that box right on the right, which says I struggle no matter what, I just need help, student skills, and continue, you'll see the different types of goals that we offer, and you can choose to opt in with an academic coach at a time and day of your choice. Now that coach will stay with you for the duration of your degree. This is your support champion. So, and then if you need content support, you're going to jump into those workshops and office hours and the 24/7 and all the other services. So altogether, you have a full wraparound support with our department and team. Thank you, Melanie.
Awesome. This is even better. Y'all, I love this. I love that you got to see all of the different things that academic support can really bring to you to help you be your most successful student. So Amy, thank you so much. Thank you for rolling with me. We appreciate you. Students, please tell Amy a big thank you for all of the information and resources that have been shared today. So y'all, real quick, I'm going to flip my camera back on. I just want to make sure that everybody is just really clear on your assignments for this week. Assignment. You only have that project draft, okay? So you're going to pick that PowerPoint template or you're going to pick the Word document. Remember, do what works best for you. I always tell students, you want to write in those complete sentences, you want to give those examples, you want to connect the concepts, you want to share the details. For some of you, if you want to do that more in that list kind of format or that bulleted format, especially for using the PowerPoint, that's totally fine. I had a student turn one in and they definitely used kind of a numbered format. but everything was still very clear. She may have bulleted things, but she had examples, details to really make sure that those thoughts were fully explained, okay? So just a reminder too, this is how you can find the webinar recordings. I will pop it in the chat. The other thing I wanted to show you guys just really quick as a reminder, when you go into course menu and you go into learning modules and you go to module 3, when you go to the project overview, when you scroll down, that is where you find those 2 templates, okay? Remember, you're only answering part 1. So everybody, how we feeling? Did this help a little bit? Did this help just kind of break down like where to find things, where to see things? I absolutely love that you got a live demo of everything for academic support, because sometimes we're just nervous to like click that button and reach out for that assistance, or we're not sure how to do something or if we're doing it right. So I think it's a great thing that you got to see like how you do this, but also hear from your peers in the chat about their experience with working with this team too, okay? So, okay, good. You guys are feeling good. All right, so just a reminder, this project draft assignment, you're only doing part 1. It's due by Sunday or before, as convenient for your schedule, okay? If you get stuck, if you have questions, remember, reach out to your instructor first. Also know that you do have the written feedback feature. If you use that Word template, if you use the PowerPoint template, remember Miss Amy said to do the 24/7, and you can go that way for some feedback. But if you're stuck or if you have questions, you want to make sure that you reach out to your instructor. This project does build. So here this week, you're doing part 1. Week 5, module 5 is part 2. And then the very last section you're putting together in module 7. So if you get stuck, reach out. I'm going to get this recording downloaded and upload to our First Year Experience YouTube channel for IDS 104. I'm going to pop that in the chat real quick. Is there anything else? Am I missing anything else? Y'all, you're doing great. Just remember, take a big deep breath, take a minute, whatever's working, keep it working. If you're struggling, you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. Take a breath, sit down, reach out to your advisor even and be like, hey, can you help me kind of like map out a plan to like get on track, or like I'm feeling overwhelmed. Your advisors are wonderful with all those kinds of resources for you. And just know that we believe in you and we're excited for you. And we know that you 100% got this. So you have to say that to yourself too. Okay. I'm going to just take a minute and be like, I got this. I can do this. All right, everybody, you got it. All right. Have an amazing week 3, everyone. I will see you, I guess, in the YouTube channel for week 4. But if you have not yet gotten into that IDS 104 learning community, come say hello, check it out. It's a great space to be, and it's a great representation of a digital community. So have a great week 3, everybody. Bye.